Today, Larian Studios just released the biggest patch we've seen for Baldur's Gate 3, which introduces some massive changes to the game, including in-game mod installation. In this video, we're going to explore everything that's new in patch 7, and why now is a great time to dive back into Baldur's Gate 3. So without further ado, let's buckle up, grab some iced coffee, and dive into BG3's latest update. The most notable changes introduced in patch 7 are 13 new ending cinematics, fleshing out some of the evil endings to the game, new legendary actions available in Honor Mode, and most significantly, the ability to install mods from an in-game menu, as well as an upcoming toolkit that will allow players to create new mods for the game. Now, we've seen in the past, particularly with Bethesda RPGs, how important modding communities can be for the long-term success and player retention of a single-player game. Even today, Skyrim and Fallout 4 still maintain tens of thousands of concurrent players on Steam, and both of those games came out roughly a decade ago. So now that Larian is providing an extensive modding toolkit to the community, will make it easier for us to get awesome Baldur's Gate 3 mods for years to come. As stated in the patch notes, the Baldur's Gate 3 toolkit is a separate application on the Steam store that you can download for free that allows you to create mods specifically for Baldur's Gate 3. Now, it is worth pointing out that the modding toolkit is not currently live at the time I'm recording this video, but it will become available soon. And Larian has provided some guides on how to create your own mods for Baldur's Gate 3. So this is really exciting news. Mods that are created and uploaded using Larian's toolkit will be available for direct install within the game. Also, the ability to install mods directly from an in-game menu is a huge W for accessibility. I know some players are a little anxious about getting into modding because it's like, what happens if I brick my game? How will I resolve any technical issues? What if I want to uninstall it? For seasoned modders, this isn't a big issue, but there are a lot of players who don't really know how to get started with modding. So it's nice for them to be able to just install these mods directly in-game without having to create an account on Nexus Mods or find a mod manager tool or read a bunch of instructions. Now, it is worth pointing out that these mods are currently only available on PC, but they should become available on console relatively soon. And this is worth pointing out because if you're playing a cross-save on PC and console, your patch 7 PC saves will not sync over to your console playthrough at the moment, so that is worth keeping in mind. Currently, there are over 100 mods available within the in-game mod manager, including some important ones like Mommy Karlach. Let's see, what does this mod do? Change Karlach's name to Mommy Karlach. Alright, you're doing God's work out here. You also have the ability to enable and disable mods directly in-game. This will also make it easier to make sure you and your friends all have the same mods installed if you're doing a multiplayer playthrough. Speaking of which, Larian has also made some changes to provide a smoother experience in split-screen multiplayer. When playing on split-screen, the two halves of the screen will now dynamically merge together when player characters come close to each other in-game, and dynamically split back up when the characters move apart. This revamp comes alongside many other improvements and polishes to improve the overall split-screen experience. I still haven't had the chance to do a multiplayer run of BG3 just yet, so maybe I'll have to bully one of my friends into playing with me. Most of my IRL friends just play Call of Duty and other multiplayer shooters though. Larian also debunked a big rumor that was circulating prior to the release of patch 7. This revolved around everyone's favorite tiefling bard, Alfira, who meets a grisly end during Dark Urge playthroughs. Well, Alfira is now available as a companion if you play as the Dark Urge. However, that arrangement is only temporary according to the patch notes. It would seem some of you didn't pick up what we were putting down. There are no new companions, there is only death. Damn, Alfira stands in shambles right now. As I already mentioned, Larian has added 13 new cinematic cutscenes to the end of Baldur's Gate 3, mostly focusing on evil endings for origin characters like Will. In fact, much of the fixes listed in the patch notes relate to Will and Karlach's origin characters. So if you're playing a custom character, you may not see many new cinematics that you haven't seen before. I wish I had more time to run through the game with every origin character, because I think it would be incredibly interesting to see things from Lae'zel and Shadowheart's perspective in particular. But there are so many games and so little time. One update related to the ending that caught my eye was companions should now be more sympathetic to Astarion fleeing from the sun. That always ended up being kind of unintentionally funny scene at the end of the game, where Astarion runs off screaming as the sun burns him, and the rest of the party is just like, damn, that's crazy. Guess we won't be seeing him again. There are some other notable dialogue changes as well, such as fixing a bunch of dialogue in Will's origin endings. In Act 2, Minthara will now react to you having knocked her out in Act 1, and Minthara does in fact now have something to say about Orin after you kill her. Man, all these changes are really inspiring me to want to start a new playthrough. I'll put a link to the patch notes in the description if you want to check them out. Baldur's Gate 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I appreciate all the love and support Larian continues to pour into this game. So are you diving back into BG3 for patch 7? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more BG3 and RPG videos. Big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my content. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.